September 2026 is shaping up to be an unparalleled month for the gaming industry. These companies are stacking releases in the months leading up to Grand Theft Auto because I'm sure nobody wants to go up against it in November. So we're seeing a lot of good stuff in September, and that's what we want to talk about today. Hi folks, it's Falcon. Join the 1% Club with the button below to get the unhinged stuff on the Falcon Show every weekend. Today on Game Ranks, the top 10 new games of September 2026. Starting off at number 10, it's Control Resonant. This is the sequel to Control. It's taking it from a third-person shooter into an action RPG, and I have to imagine that Remedy was briefly terrified when they saw the 3D printed New York area in Pragmata. Oh shit, that looks just like our New York. I mean, they don't. I think they probably got over it pretty quick, but man, Remedy just turns everything upside down, like both literally and figuratively, and I just cannot wait to play Control Resonant. We all know Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the biggest thing this year. This is the thing I am looking forward to as much for different reasons. Control Resonant is landing the 24th on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. And number 9, it's Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Nintendo and Intelligent Systems X big tactical RPG for Switch 2. Once again, a game about making life or death decisions on a grid. The setup for this one revolves around the Dogden Empire. Nintendo's teasing a story of gods and heroes and warriors and 4 playable protagonists, which sounds a lot like Three Houses, but more. They're kind of treating Fire Emblem like a tentpole franchise now. They're positioning it as a major Switch 2 exclusive. Kind of wild when this was one game's bad sales away from getting shoved to the Nintendo attic next to F-Zero. Fortune's Weave is launching the 17th, obviously exclusive for Switch 2, and I'm really looking forward to it. I love Fire Emblem. And number 8 is Minecraft Dungeons 2, or as we've called it on the Falcon Show many times, kind of baby's first Diablo. And we don't say that insultingly, we say that in actually a good way. If you're a parent with a kid and you want them to get into the type of game Diablo is at all, this is probably the path to that. Dungeons 2 is opening the formula up a little bit more. Still accessible, very hangout friendly with the Minecraft charm and all that, but with combat. Like, well, more serious combat, but not the most serious combat. It's a dungeon crawler rather than an open-ended building game. It's got single-player online co-op, split-screen co-op, and cross-platform, and it's launching pretty much everywhere that matters. It's coming to PC, Switch and Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series. It'll also be on Game Pass, and it's landing on the 29th. And number 7 is Halloween, an asymmetrical stealth horror game based on the original 1978 Halloween, developed and published by IllFonic and co-published by Gun Interactive. You can either become the boogeyman or try to save the citizens of Haddonfield, so it's either survival horror or I don't really know what Michael Myers gameplay is like. It is listing it as an immersive horror sandbox, and it's not just multiplayer, which intrigues me a lot. When I say Halloween and asymmetric, you immediately go, oh, it's one of those. And I guess like part of it is one of those, but it seems like it goes a little bit further than one of those. The single player story mode in of itself separates it pretty significantly, and I'm definitely pretty interested in how this one actually plays out. Halloween the game is launching September 8th for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. And number 6, it's EA Sports FC 27, the latest in EA's post-FIFA football empire. Pretty much it's the same game without the word FIFA on it. The cover this year is basically put some of the most marketable footballers on earth on the box. Mbappe and Bellingham. And they've also added what they're calling the grounds mode and clubs, which are only available on PS5, Xbox Series, PC, and Switch 2. Old gen versions are not getting those. I mean, it's FC 27. I don't really care about the grounds or clubs. If I'm playing one of these games, I'm just dropping into a game. I don't really play the seasons at this point, but they do that well. Like, that's the reason we come back to these games. FC 27 is coming out the 25th. Missed opportunity. Waited 2 days. Could have launched it on the 27th, but whatever. It's on pretty much everything. PC, the PlayStations, the Xboxes, the Switches. Only the latest generation of stuff has the grounds and clubs, though. And number 5 is Hot Wheels Infinite Rush. It's an arcade racer and looks like it's taking the Unleashed formula. Not Sonic Unleashed, Hot Wheels Unleashed. There's no Werehog. Or is there? Who knows? We love our Werehog. But Infinite Rush features more than 150 vehicles, a whole new world of multiple islands, events, challenges, car collecting, track building, and apparently the track builder has been built upon. It's enhanced. Lots more customization. I mean, where do you go once you take the leash off? It has to be Infinite, right? Why is there not a Sonic Infinite? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Hot Wheels Infinite Rush launches September 10th on PC, PS5, and Nintendo Switch 2. And number 4 is Silent Hill Townfall. Let me just go ahead and say I am super excited for this game. It's not a game that's gotten the amount of hype that a lot of the other games we've talked about have gotten. It's not even gotten the kind of hype that the other new Silent Hill games have gotten for whatever reason. But I think it's perhaps one of the more intriguing of the new Silent Hill games. It takes place in Scotland in 1996. And it is the first full-length Silent Hill game to be presented in first person. You're Simon. You're looking for someone. It's a classic Silent Hill setup. We'll see where it goes, but a lot of what we've seen looks very cool. Development came from Screenburn. They used to be known as No Code. They've put out other games that are actually quite good that people liked. Stories Untold and Observation, if you've been familiar with either. I'm not quite as familiar with them, but their trailers for this game have gotten me very confident that this is going to be a good one. Townfall is launching September 24th for PS5 and PC. Moving on to number 3, The Blood of Dawnwalker. A studio founded by former Witcher 3 talent decided, let's make a game. The pedigree definitely makes this game look good, but it also puts a lot of pressure on it. You're Cohen, a man in 14th century Europe who becomes a Dawnwalker, which is a human by day, vampire by night, and you're trying to save your family. It's an open world. Time works a little different in this game. Instead of just linearly going forward every moment at a certain rate, time progresses as you complete missions, which I really think that's cool. During the day, it looks a lot more like a traditional Witcher type game, and during night, there is Werehog stuff, rather vampire stuff. This is a game where I think I'm positive about it, but if it doesn't go well, I wouldn't be shocked either, because it's a tough bill to fill when you come out of CD Projekt Red and you're known for The Witcher and like, we're going to make something that looks kind of like The Witcher. We are changing some things. So I'm extremely interested and I want it to be good. I'm also not as hesitant as some. What I've seen of it looks cool, and the time mechanic, I really like the idea of this sort of mission-based time. It makes it so that your choices are more like time-based in a way that I think gives you a little flexibility, as well as turns time into more of a puzzle than a timer. Dawnwalker's coming September 3rd for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. And number 2 is Onimusha, Way of the Sword. This is a game where the demo might confuse you a little bit. They apparently gave you a little bit more power from later in the game to experiment in the demo with, to kind of know what you're getting, which actually turned me off a little bit. I was like, this is like way too easy. And I'm not like particularly good. Onimusha's always been sort of in this sweet spot between Resident Evil and Devil May Cry. And I think they've actually managed to sort of keep that while incorporating some modern ideas, not enough to really transform it into a different game, but it definitely feels a little more lively than the older Onimusha games, and not to say that they weren't lively. This one's set in Edo period Kyoto. Kyoto's been twisted by clouds of malice. In video games, of course, malice is some kind of mystical infection or something. Really doesn't need to explain itself. It's bad. But you're Miyamoto Musashi. You're a samurai. You have the Oni Gauntlet, and you have to fight all of these like underworld demons popping up and making problems for the kind people of Kyoto. I'm hyped. I love Onimusha. Once I heard that the demo was maybe representing an easier version than you would get in the full game, I was like, okay, I get it. And that's what I want. It's gonna give me basically exactly what I want out of this. And it's coming on September 4th for PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch 2. And finally, at number 1 is Marvel's Wolverine. This is a game that I think is kind of weirdly controversial. A lot of people don't like what Wolverine looks like. We have Jake on the Falcon show this week, and I'm pretty sure it was either during recording or not, but I said, I think the problem is that he looks like the Beast from the cartoon Beauty and the Beast, both in beast form and not in beast form at the same time. And I wasn't saying this to be particularly insulting. I was just trying to say, I think that's what the problem is. And I think it is. I hope we were recording at the time because I think that's funny too. But I actually think this game's going to be pretty good. The combat to me looks awesome, and that's literally what it is. That's what a Wolverine game is. I'm not sure if I think it looks better or on par with the old X-Men Origins Wolverine combat, which is clearly a different thing. Insomniac is definitely taking this in a bit more of a Spider-Man type direction, while also sort of maintaining the feel of that older game. And I'm sure they're doing that on purpose because while that older game has its problems, people I think are able to talk about it like, this is what's good about this game, this is what's bad about this game. And I've seen like countless videos about how it's so close to being a great game. It is too. And I think that they had to understand that going in. But they also had that same conundrum with Spider-Man. There were definitely very good Spider-Man games that Insomniac had to figure out how to do something similar, but not quite the same. And they landed that. I don't see why they won't land this one. I think it's reasonable to expect it to be a good game. Everything we've seen about it makes me think it's going to be a good game, potentially a great game. There might be a little bit of fretting about non-gameplay elements about it, which is fine. Like, people are allowed to have their own taste, but I think ultimately I'm excited to play this one. It's landing September 15th on PS5 exclusively. I do have a bonus game for you as well. It's a Nemo, kind of a free-to-play open-world creature-catching RPG. I think the Venn diagram we're talking about here is Pokemon Pal World and Breath of the Wild. I want to say it kind of looks like a softer Pal World that leans further towards Breath of the Wild in terms of, in particular, the feel of the world itself. From everything I've seen, it looks very much like they adhere to the triangle strategy, so to speak. Looking at their open world, even though the art style isn't necessarily Breath of the Wild, it makes me think of Breath of the Wild. I don't really know exactly what sets this apart from Pokemon or Pal World, but you're collecting creatures. You can apparently merge with them. You can glide, dive, burrow underground, solve puzzles, lots of stuff. I don't know. It's intriguing. It's also free to play, so it's probably going to have crappy monetization stuff in it that makes it less good. But, you know, I'll always give something a chance. How about you? What's your opinion? Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. Join the 1% Club. We've got Jake on the Falcon show this weekend. The 1% Club is the only way to hear that. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.